Hello. My name is Live Stoka. This is my conscious lab. This is a big opening to a door of my own thinking, of my own progress to see how well I'm doing. Just maybe I can share with you a little bit. This is my own song right now. Snoop Dogg and some others singing Candy, Liquid.
Yeah. Talk to him, nephew. I got this under meth merchant, shipping and handling your last o'clock. Time to get up, wipe the eye boogers out my eye. What y'all trying to buy, Tippy? You know it's kind of dry. You only got a couple of pies left to last me through the year. On the ice cream can.
Probably get banned for playing this. Don't want to do that, so I'll only play it for a few seconds. All right, so hi, my name is Live Stoka. Today we're going to talk about how you surround yourself with your and how you control your patterns, and that in yourself there's you and there's your external world. So the first two digits of you is on yourself, and then what's around you also on. Well, that's a variable that's associatable to your universe. It's not necessarily on. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. Well, sometimes you can put in a place where it's off. I mean, isn't that weird? Like a person could actually live in a place where their two or their one is off. Their constants are off, where they don't typically build any constants ever. They don't have a pattern. And that associatedly, we learned that you got your constants in front of you, you got your activation behind you, and then you got you in the middle of it. And then you had choice factors, which divine from your brain and your heart. And then when you get older, the needs of your body too. And that age and youth play a major role in leaving the body out of it, that choice factor, leaving the body out of the choice factor to begin with, because the growth and constants over the brain, activating the body versus not activating the body in the use, can be a great outcome. Now, you have the ability to slow down and look at yourself and say, I am me, who am I being, what am I being? That when I'm in the moment, I feel like being an apple, and that won't last forever. Or in the moment, I feel like being a trash guy, and that won't last forever. That what I want to be in the moment won't last forever unless I apply myself lasting forever. That what am I when I'm not trying to apply myself in any way, shape, or form, and I'm just at complete rest? How do I react? How do I act? A lot of these associations are variables that you can't control, and to put yourself in an inert state to find you is actually really difficult, and that this place, the world, doesn't offer us to find our inert state very well. And what we can consistently say is a drive to retain the inert state. So it boils down to every imprint is the most progressive imprint it can be, and that there is a lot of manageability when it comes to these outcomes. And some circumstances are powerful enough to retain the value. So if the value gets lost, a very bad outcome could happen, or a good outcome. I mean, and that everything in existence is pretty remembered just by imprinting yourself, that there is no constant of a choice over imprinting, that basically everything is imprinted. Once it's imprinted, it's available to anything that needs it. And if something's going to recourse the value of that imprint, it's definitely available to that. That constructively, your universe breaks into three pieces: your constants, the things you repeat over and over and over, you, and your activation. And that sometimes the constants get removed. That sometimes in some people on this planet, constants could be really reduced or removed, and that they don't really have a genetic straight of patterns. And that if someone was type of proximity, that their genetic change, because typically, when you're born, you're born to recognize all three processes: the self, the constants, and the activation and the validation too. Um, so you find yourself really trying to negotiate these processes when you're first born, up until about 4 years old, 5 years old, until you start becoming acrobatic. And then you start generally augmenting the constants and shifting them in structure. And that takes agileness and acrobatics to stabilize that constants. So you have to show some parameters of psychological inputting, not physics inputting, some type of physics inputting, logical orientation, youth, constants, repeating. And this is done with validation and with not validation. So in this, you grow up over time, and a lot of people in society don't manage your constant patterns, your patterns. It's all about the inward push to sustain the parallel activation of what we would consider God. Like, we consider this part to be God, that technically it doesn't get involved, but we know something can. So God doesn't exist in everybody, just like constants don't exist in everybody. But to the product, what we find the logical orientation of humanity to be is that we search for the opening. Like, we search for the opening and we name it and we live it until it's created. And we're doing that again this year. We're doing, in the whole bit of history of humanity this year, there's a whole progression of some like Da Vinci outcome, where the progress is to name the unnamed. And so when we talk about a lot of the meditation factors now, we should be finding other drawing in relativity to the constants of our globe. The globe has constants. The globe has a self. The globe has an activation field, and the globe has a validation field. And the electrical field occupies a mask, a type of mask of these fields. So they can either be in sync or out of sync. So what we have is that we have a lot of government looking into this type of understanding. We have a lot of government looking into what this all can boil down to and what it means. And this kind of makes me a hot subject. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't be quiet over times that I should, but I feel a great pull to explain when I can. And dump it in the internet, basically. Just dump it in the internet and keep my name. I used a very, very variable name. I earned my name through meditation. Lagustoga. It means transmutative drop in Sanskrit. And a drop of water, transmutative drop of water. At an early age, I was told about a drop of water that was very precious and transmuted to change everything. And that this drop of water gets dropped into a dirty bucket of water and changes everything. Cleans the whole bucket of water. And that's what that name means. And that's my trade name. That's my brand name for my whole outfit. I'm gonna try to be an influencer, something that can retain a little authority in the internet, through diplomacy and through activation. Activist. My activist quality right now is cannabis. I believe many things about the cannabis plant. I thought about many progressions of the cannabis plant, and that being a constant in my reality since 2000 because of an illness. I actually was born. I wasn't born with an illness. I got cancer in my thymus gland at a young age, and at 19, and I started smoking after I left behind another illness called myasthenia gravis. And I'm glad I smoke. I'm glad cannabis is a constant in my belly, because sometimes I feel like I'm one of those people with no constants. When you add a regimen of medicine and cannabis and alcohol, I don't drink. But if I were to use alcohol or opiates or cocaine, or like all those can become constants in peak reality that don't sustain constants through regimen or through discipline. And for me, it's more of a meditational value, but I picked up on some times where this has actually been a constant, more of a sobering, drowning moment, and we've managed through it. Cannabis is a very positive for my life, and being someone that's an extreme sports junkie, very activated person mentally, I find that with my condition, I have weak muscles and I can't do anything. And I'm even sitting here as I'm trying to activate my quality with my condition and being an outdoors person, a very big outdoors person. And cannabis helps me manage that too. I wish I could be out there riding, camping, swimming, and kayaking and climbing, but I got to make a living some other way being me. So that's another positive quality that I found I can do. So back to this activation. I'm kind of digging for activation. I'm using these qualities, these videos as a meditation policy for me. And then I'm looking for the qualities of my universe. I'm looking for the qualities of my universe. The qualities of this universe is a camera, a microphone, a viewer, maybe one viewer, and someone that picks up on this in the future. Anybody, I guess, really. It's probably be open documentation to anything that wants it. So let's think about the future patrons that pick up on this. But I'm using these videos to kind of put myself in meditation to figure it out, just figure it out live on camera. Like, what is there to figure out? There's something to figure out. It's waiting to be figured out. It kind of wants to be on camera. I kind of want to be on camera. I want to figure this out for people to understand. And I really keep getting this knock that what I'm figuring out, governments want to figure out, militaries want to figure out, aliens want to figure out, that this information can really be used against us. And that one of my biggest things that I've been taught is that there's a policy of society. And then in that policy of society, it really gives us the authority to retain the control over diplomacy, just being a choice operator, just knowing that we make choice. So in society, there's the ability for us to be the choice operator of power as a group. And we can own the diplomacy. And that some things like cannabis, and that some things like genetic modification of fruits and vegetables, and that textiles like cannabis and textiles and new forms of energy are all circuits of power as a unit when it comes to the inward momentum of what is being managed. So in the herd, we look for power transformers like free energy, battery composites, depleting oil, solar power, genetic agriculture that feeds society. So look past what the possibilities and the outcomes may be in the moment. And as a larger outcome, not Monsanto in particular, but a positive, constructive company, Elon, we're looking at you for this one, buddy, can be a constructive input for feeding people. And we don't really want to transmute into the powders and the pills for consumption. We want to keep it real. We want to keep it raw. So these organism companies trying to modify genetics to sustain abundance by a population of 9.5 billion by now. Well, after COVID, I guess I hope and pray. But aren't a bad plausibility. And if you look at it rationally, society is very large. The world is very large, and people are together. We're smashed together. And to say we need to come together is just not looking at the truth, is that we're all in a small box trying to use the resources of one planet, and that substantially we need to come together as a group, an organization, try to manage them. And I think that society's come to a type of, what's that word I'm looking for? When you grow up a little bit, starts with M. But when you grow up a little bit and start managing yourself, like society's come to that point. We can do this. And I'm an advocate for that. So I kind of want to watch how I take on these videos a little more and just work on what society has to offer itself. And that collecting data about yourself, and finding the truth makes you vulnerable. And that I don't want to make myself too vulnerable, because if it is the truth, and these theories that I'm coming across through active meditation, make me. I mean, you heard of the doctors get taken out because they cure people with basic nutrients of food and roots and stuff. And sometimes I'll be running through the woods and a tree will smack me, and it's like, damn it, I think that was real. And it's like, whoa. But so far, I mean, I think this theory in society to give us a power hold needs to be thunked about somehow. And I think cannabis, and I think even if we were lucky enough, we could build some major banking, like economic powerhouses in the cannabis industry right now. And that maybe if we could help manage these guys and suck them in to their seat quickly through the cannabis industry and get them as economic power holders through Fortune 500 companies and stuff like that. But I'm thinking right now, knowing society and the economic standards of what is individualness and civilianship, and how the microeconomics work between households, is something that they understand over more than we do, and it's going to cause us to lose a grip that we have in control. So this whole economic COVID thing is happening, but we need people to take a step forward, and instead of being panicked, instead of being lost, try to grasp how it's all working and what we can do, and just be the anchor in society. Let things unfold around us, because I think once we understand how it's working, things will unfold for us around us, that it's all like vibrating in a way that it should just stack up really nicely if we're lucky. But we just need to get the word out. We get the story out. We can pass it in myth. We can pass it in science. We can pass it in law. We can't really pass it in law. We don't want to. We want to keep that open, because we're going to slip shit in. We got to think of it as what I'm doing. I think of it as slipping through boundaries that exist, where the constants are gone. And then if they find me there, we'll build a barrier of law and sustain the constant where it didn't exist in someone else's reality. I just got to figure out what reality I'm in. Someone stuck the reality on me, and I tried breaking it, I think. But it's okay. So constants, activation, it's behind you. It's behind you. It's your balance. It's your cerebellum. It's your sight. Constants, side you. Patterns of smoking, drinking, brushing your teeth, eating, pooping. Pooping is the most significant constant. If you ever get lost, it's not a shower. It's pooping and peeing. Masturbation, but don't call it that. It's all called self-exploration. Be on top of your game. It's meant for you to step back and be on top of it. So it's not what it's named. It's what you got to name it. It's positive and it's self-explorative rationality of who you are. Picking your ear, piercing it, playing with your piercing your nose. Micro constants. Your brain's scattered. Believe me, I've been there. Had my tongue pierced twice. After I got sick, I wasn't smart. No immune system. I survived. Oh, I've been dead 36 times. Just dropping that little piece of information here. Yeah, because of my condition, I've been on a ventilator 39 times. Heart stopped many times. I haven't figured out why. It's all this universe stares at me and does. It just says, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. I'm like, I don't know, you can feel all that still. It's okay. So you got your constants. I made death a constant. Do you think that's a constant? That would be weird. I'm like the first person to have death as a constant. I'm just beating her back everywhere. The universe flips around my backside and goes, you can turn that into a purification process. I'm like, home field. Someone else take that. I'm so tired of it. All right. So we'll go 25 minutes, but that's a constant. That's a constant of me. That's if you meet me, it's hard to dip in and out of that one. But the condition I have, it's worse. I'm like raw dogging my pain, and no, I'm just kidding. I'm a good guy to hang out with, I think. But so I heard also some governments were trying to resource death, and I could have come in to try to build proof to resource. If you're watching, pick up the phone. I got something. Cowboy Nilly. So if it's not true, don't worry about it. It won't bother you. But if it's true, I hope you have a document for that. We're gonna need proof you have ownership, and some reason it's following you, but I can't figure out anything. Then it's a value of her choice. She's literally got a wide mouth choice. I went and measured out her operator she chose, and it hit me 36. Yeah, her operator chooses 36. I figured out. So I can dance with it, but it hurts. Yeah, I do feel it. Significant amount of pain. I'm waiting for the bank to pick it up and say, "Here's your cashola." No. System broken? Alright. I don't think I'm talking to anybody. I think I'm thinking out loud. This is a meditation video. I can see myself sparking a journey to create a solution. I still think you need a solution, Dad. What does that there say, kid? What'd you do to the planet? So, I'm familiar with past life regression. They said I made the choice to do this here, and all that stuff about past life. And then here I tried to run from it. Just throwing a piece of the puzzle away. Okay, well, so constants, activation, validation. I'm still working on my validation. It's still not a significant piece of existence for me. My universe is without it. I'm without it. And I can't do what I need to do all the time. Especially when I'm playing my video game. Whatever it is, likes my video game. They say we can create an empire of warlords out of video games. They're trying to stop me. Could be losing it. My guy could really be jacked up in the game. Both. And I can't change the console and just go to a different console game. So they're taking my video game too, sort of. I don't know. But this is all brought to you by Arsani Water. This is the best water in the industry now. It is pure maple syrup, maple tree water, pure maple tree water. Classifies pure maple tree water. It's brewed out of a tree, maple tree. Oh shit! All right. So brewed out of a maple tree. This is different kind. This is cherry lime. Arsani water. Acai water. Yes, it's really just I'm not good at this advertising stuff. This is what I drink most often in Naples, Florida, while enjoying a hot, brisk, sunny day. Good old Michigan, Detroit guy in Naples, trying to blend in. But carry on with the show everywhere. Data is data. The Data Anonymous crew is available for your crew. Just drop your database in the internet, YouTube, and anything you need to make it private, and we'll get it. All right. Peace out, my friends. Asani water. Pure maple tree